Hey, quickly before we get into the video, I quickly wanted to share some news about the Signal/Premium group we have. Because over the last couple of weeks, going into the summer, but also the rest of the year, we have started drawing up some plans for spot accumulation of coins like Bitcoin, XRP, but also Solana. So for example, how we started was buying Bitcoin. We actually had limits right here from 100,000 into 98,000. Went in big, are making a lot of profit right now. So if you're interested in spot accumulation plans like that, outside of future signals, consider joining. But that's it for now. Just wanted to let you know about that. And now let's get into the video. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. We have good news because not only did we get some good news, or at least we got news, right? And in this video, we'll talk about whether that's actually good news or not. But outside of that, this was also my predictions were correct, right? Which is always great. I would say, I mean, there's obviously always hate, but I would say that most of my analyses on XRP are correct, at least when it matters, right? So for me, when it matters, if we zoom out on XRP right here, is very much when we are at the edges of the range, right? I mean, XRP has been ranging, or at least the value area at this point of time, is between 2.6 and 2.07. And what I said in my last video, which was yesterday, of course, because I covered XRP daily, is that there was some bad news that we had earlier last week, and sure that was the case, but ultimately I said, you know, maybe this will push us a little bit lower, which it did push us a little bit lower, but minimally, by the way. Just down to the precisely the value area low, which great level, right here at 2.07. So it pushed us a little bit lower, but ultimately I said, I don't think this is going to cause a bearish breakdown. And I think it's more likely that we're going to actually hold this and that we're going to bounce. Personally, I also took an intraday long on XRP right here from 2.1. Little bit high maybe, but that was where the 7-day rolling VWAP was. That was also sent in the premium/signal group we have. But now prices are trading higher, and yesterday we got some good news. You can see this this tweet by Brett Garlinghouse, that Ripple is dropping the cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal. If you remember, back in, I think it was October last year, the SEC appealed the judgment that we got. And then Ripple cross appealed that, right? But yeah, so the SEC is expected to drop their appeal. You know, this is, you can see this in multiple ways. First of all, I think we have to wait for the SEC to actually drop their appeal as well. I think they're going to do that. But that could still potentially cause some sort of a further upside for XRP right here. But ultimately, what this does mean, I think, and I should, you know, potentially, I should potentially read up on this a little bit more, but it seems to be true that does mean that the original judgment stands, right? And the original judgment was that the institutional sales were illegal, and that they have to pay, I think it was $125 million, which, no, I think Ripple can pay that. I mean, they also did an acquisition of much more of Hidden Road, of course. However, it's a lot of money, right? And that's and I think a lot of people throughout the last couple of months were expecting that this appeal or this, you know, this further continuation of the case would bring some better results for Ripple. So the jury is still out, in my opinion, on whether this is actually good enough news for the price to rally up higher, or that this is, you know, worse news than expected, and worse news than expected can push prices lower. Now, what we've seen so far from the price is quite good. We got a strong reaction here from the bottom of the range. We left some imbalances as well, so that usually indicates quite an aggressive move, which is what you want to see ultimately. But what that means is that we have left some imbalances to the downside. I think the fundamentals, you know, ultimately, like I said, I think they're bullish, but there is still some potential for nuance, I would say. So short term, do I think we're going to rally up higher? Yes, I think short term it's quite likely, very short term. I think it's quite likely we're going to fill some of those imbalances though right here. I think you can also see, if we take a look at the TPO footprint for XRP right here, I think we can see some single prints as well. Yeah, there's a single print right here, for example, at 2.16. So a bit of a pullback I do expect, but from there, and that's also in line with the structure for XRP, both on the higher time frames And the lower time frames, I think we're at least going up to that level right here at 2.26. So something like that is what I would expect. Obviously not this clean, but ultimately that is the most likely direction. So I'll keep you updated on that, but I think for now that is what you need to know. So thank you for watching. Take care. Have a great weekend, and bye.